What's up, good folks? Happy Friday. Um, so I've been following the story of the young brother named Nolan Wells. I wanted to record a quick video. Um, but as I said before, a lot of times I find that just recording, or should I say, going live is a lot easier. Um, that the subject is very touchy. It's a very touchy subject. And it does get a lot of people emotional, especially people that are empathic. um as it relates to us as a people. For people who are like me, it really puts us in a tough place, because initially it seems as though, these are things that are happening so frequently and commonly, and because of the history of this country and the things that we have experienced and the things that we are already aware of. A lot of times people do go to the obvious. Us as a people, we go to the obvious and we'll say things that is pertaining to racist things. And I would say rightfully so. Some of the details that I heard about brother Nolan Wells, about the story, was that the guys that he actually went to, that he went on this trip with, were people that he grew up with and people that he always hung out with. So that made me feel a lot better to hear that. Good evening, you guys, the people who are tapping in with me at this time. I'm just talking about the brother Nolan Wells. Um, I'm not big on like sharing, my feels and things, but I will tell you guys that I feel a way about it because I am empathic. And like I said about, the case with the youngster, um, who, had the case where he was, seems as though he was defending himself. It seems as though we can't get a break. And then, it's always something. So, when there is different races involved, it's very good evening, everybody. How's everybody doing? It seems as though um it's always like, it always is focused on racism. And then, like the state and the temperature in this country, the state of the country and things. It I'm well, thank you. It's Kylie. I'm well, thank you. And I'm glad that you're good as well. Um, yeah, it's just weird. It's really weird, the times that we're living in. And I know that some people will say, there's nothing new under the sun. Um, and I truly believe that. But the thing about it is that, you know, with these devices and what people having cameras and things like that, everything is recorded. um Everything is surveilled. All things are being revealed, all things are being exposed. So even if, there's nothing new under the sun, and there's always been chaos, or there always been this, and the racism and things, well, it's so easily accessible. And then as soon as something happens, what do people do? They they just, they kind of jump on, they jump on the story, and everybody have a comment, and everybody is experts in things. I was real iffy about even talking about it right now, but I'm only talking about it because I wanted to, I wanted to talk about it, and I wanted to give my I wanted to share my thoughts. And I wanted to see what other people thought about it. Besides the fact that it's really sad. Again, initially, for me, I'm thinking that, somebody unalived him on purpose or intentionally. Where I'm coming, the thoughts, the conclusion that I'm coming to as far as my speculation is that Mr. Wells, or brother, the young brother, Nolan Wells, he went out with his friends and everything was supposed to be, so hello, thank you for the comments, you guys. So I think that what I think happened was the brother went out with his friends and everything was all good, and then that's weird. Let's get a little more. I think that I think he went out with his friends, and I think that everything was all good. And then I think that, you know, he got into it with someone, and I'm only assuming and speculating that because of what some of the kids said. Some of the kids said that somebody had gotten into an altercation. Some people said that Nolan got into an altercation, and other things that we're hearing on the internet was that it wasn't him, it was some other people. But if he went to this island with his friends from his childhood, that the friends that he left with, and he didn't come back, but they say that he actually came back with another group of friends, that makes it, as a mother, it makes it hard to believe that he said that he wanted to stay and that he was gonna come back with another group of friends. I don't understand, just like a lot of people who are speculating, why is it that he went to this island with a group of friends and then he didn't return? And then they say that there was an argument, or there was an altercation, or that they heard him arguing with some people, but then he didn't come back. So what does that leave people to, you know, to suspect? The suspicion raises, and people think, well, you know, they had an altercation and maybe they had a fight, and maybe, you know, somebody got hurt, you know, and then I don't know, I guess we would have to wait for the autopsy. So maybe, you know, I shouldn't speculate a lot. Maybe I should wait, you know, until they figure out the autopsy and things too. I'm only speaking about it because I, like a lot of people, feel like there's a lot of things that are not adding up. I'm white, so I don't know, but girl, I have black friends and I'm not racist. Well, I mean, I'm glad about that. I have friends of all races. I grew up with people of all races. So I'm not racist either. But, you know, the whole point that I'm trying to make is, I think that, like a lot of people, I think that the whole story is very, very suspicious. And then, you know, there's people who feel as though, you know, they're like, well, we hear about these stories all the time, and it looks really bad and it looks suspicious because there's one, you know, black boy surrounded by all of these white boys. But the thing that make me feel good and myself is that he grew up with these kids, so it's not like this was something that was random. And then they always they said that they went on these trips, and, you know, they would go on the water and things pretty often. And then even one of the boys' mom, who was a judge, said that she grew up with Nolan's mom. So I'm hoping and praying that the autopsy, what the findings are, is that they find that it was an accident. Maybe it was something about him that has to do with the toxicology report, and maybe it was an accident. I hope that it doesn't feed more into the climate of this country, and the, you know, the racism, and then the civil war that it seems like people are trying to provoke. A civil war is what it feels like to me, right? Or a race war, if you will. It's one thing to love on the people that you love and to empower yourself, and then to use the right tools and things to defend yourself and to make sure that, you know, you have all boxes checked and everything. That's one thing. But to provoke a race war is absolutely wrong, you know. And even, you know, for me, I'm not the type that's going to apologize for what it is that I do. I move the way that I move. But if people was to, you know, look at the things that I do and feel as though that the way that I'm moving is indicative or presents a certain type of temperature or way or something of the likeness, then that's absolutely false. I have a black friend. I'm white, not racist. I made a video a long time ago. Well, I think it was about a year ago, and I was telling people about, young folks and how they party and how they go out and they like to have fun. But we all were young before, right? So we know how, it is when you're young and you like to party and you like to have fun. Sometimes being that young, you're just not as responsible as someone who is probably twice your age or twice Nolan's age. Which is to be expected, but at the same time, kids need guidance, so it's always good to guide them and then to let them know. So I made a video and I was saying things about like being responsible if you're going to be drinking, even if you're not supposed to be drinking. But we're not talking about anything like that as if we're holding them, holding a case for that, but just the responsibility and whatever it is that you're engaging in and that you're doing. And then also I said in that video that when you go together, you come back together. It's always been a big thing in my life since I was younger. So it's really, really, really sad. It's sad. It's really sad that um, it seems like a lot of young people are there's a lot of young lives that are being lost. And then people that look like me, they probably won't even come, and they probably won't even address this topic the way that I am. I'm really just being real light with it right now because that's how I feel in my spirit. And then because of what I feel in my spirit, I don't want to irresponsibly come off in another way that I know that I can. I think right now this is a good energy to be in, to express how I feel about the whole situation, because I know what the contrary is. I appreciate everybody that's tapping in. Which stuff do you are you talking about, Lindy Mohawk? How do you find out this stuff? The headlines. A lot of this stuff is headlines. It's on the news. And then that's another thing that I wonder about, It's a lot of stuff being purposely shown to try to, create a certain reaction, to get people, over emotional, or to, create an illusion of some type of ill will or ill intent. But, to further express how I really feel about, on the other hand of this case, the brother Nolan Wells is from Mississippi, and Mississippi, we all know, is a very racist state. It's one of the racist places in the nation. So yeah, that definitely raised red flags for people that look like me and people in our community. Let's see something. 111 out here today. Temperatures that's too high for they say like senior citizens and kids. So, are you guys following a story about brother Nolan Wells, and what do you think about that? So there's a part of me that don't want to feed into the racism thing, because I know that if that is somebody's intention, I never want to be baited into that. But it does not look good at all. It really is looking real sus. And I mean, the part that is keeping it looking kind of innocent is the fact that brother Nolan Wells went out. He went out with his friends, some friends that he grew up with, and some friends that they would go out to this particular place quite often. But my thing is, why was he separated from his phone? You know, was there an altercation? Did he get hit? Did he fall in the water and then he got separated from his phone? He obviously couldn't have wandered off because of, like, what they said, the terrain was not, it wasn't safe enough for him to wander off and to walk there. On this live, no. Have you ever read a comment here that stayed with you? On this live, no. I like how I think Lindy Mohawk is the name. That's really great. Roblox gaming. That's cute. People still play Roblox. I appreciate you with the screen name Roblox Gaming 1921. Anyway, there's a lot going on the internet. I suppose this type of topic is probably more so for, or should I say, the things that I want to talk about is more so appropriate for pre-recorded videos. But I'm glad that you guys, you know, are tapping in and commenting and things, and just, you know, showing your presence, right? Because you could watch any other video, I suppose, or you could have clicked on any other video. Lindy Mohawk, no, you're not bothering me. I'm gonna close this video here shortly. Honestly, I got on here and excuse me, I wanted to talk about the brother Nolan Wells, and really, I just want to send condolences to his mother, to his father, to his family, everybody who he is loved by. It hurts us in our community when we lose one of our own, and it really, really, really looks bad when one of our own who looks like us is surrounded by people who does not look like them. And it raises suspicions because of not only the state of this country, but because of the history, and then all of the things to be considered, the circumstances, the state, all of those things to be considered. And, you know, there is a thing for us being a body of people, and for people to try to make it seem like you shouldn't make it about race. Yeah, it really is, right? Because we're not going to pretend like we don't stand out, because we do. And like he doesn't stand out in this situation, because he very much do, right? But when there is a pack of you know, when there's a pack of mammals, or when there's a school, or should I say, like, you know, a pod of a marine life or whatever, or should I just say a pack or a herd of mammals, right? When one is no longer there, or one is subtracted, or one goes away, say one runs away, right? Or in the sense of, without me, you know, giving too much, or should I say imagining too much, or saying too much, the whole point that I'm trying to make is that when one is removed from a circle, everybody feel that. And that is what is 9 times out of 10 going on with Black folks or African American indigenous folks in this country, because we are a body of people. And even though we're connected spiritually and we're connected on so many different ways, we also share a lot of the same unique challenges. So when one mother loses her son or father loses his son, however, we all feel it. But then when we witness the obvious, we feel it even more, and it raises antennas and suspicions even more because of the obvious. So, you know, I don't want to feed the racist or racism you know, conversation. But I will say, and I do want to add that for obvious reasons, yeah, I absolutely get it. Am I a Christian? No, I'm not a Christian. Augustine Rico. I'm not a Christian. Who's calling who? Who's calling who what? Uh, it reads something different. Okay, so I see. I'm glad that I could play with this and I can just, you know, hi, you're a Christian, just wondering. Okay, so Augustine Rico, no, I'm not a Christian, to answer your question. But I'm kind of learning how to, you know, navigate this platform, YouTube and things. I don't normally go live. I'm finding that it's a little bit easier as far as the recording process, but I'm also kind of experimenting. So I'm learning what's working and what's not. For everybody that came in and commented on this video, I greatly appreciate you guys. You guys enjoy your Friday, okay?